Welcome to 21st Sports recap and reaction for the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants in their Week 17 matchup played January 3rd, 2015. And we're going to go over the scores and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis for this NFC East rivalry game, as the Eagles had fired Chip Kelly before this game. And this could possibly be Coughlin's last game, as there are rumors that he may retire in the offseason. Of course, we'll wait and see what happens there. But in this game, starting things off, DeMarco Murray scored on a 54-yard touchdown run less than 2 minutes into this game on the Eagles' first possession. Caleb Sturgis added the extra point, and it was 7-0 Philadelphia over New York. Josh Brown hit a 22-yard field goal with about 4 minutes left in the first quarter to put the Giants' first points on the board, as it was now a 4-point game with the score 7-3, with the Eagles still in the lead. Then, with about a minute and a half still left in the first, Darren Sproles scored on a 6-yard touchdown. Caleb Sturgis added the extra point, and the Eagles extended their lead to 11 with the score Philadelphia 14, New York 3. So that was the score after 1 quarter of play. Then in the second quarter, just over a minute in, Josh Brown hit his second field goal of the game, a 30-yard field goal that made it an 8-point game with the score Philadelphia 14, New York 6. Then, less than 2 minutes later, Eli Manning found Will Tye for a 9-yard touchdown pass. Brown added the extra point, and it was now a 1-point game with the score Philadelphia 14, New York 13, with 11 minutes left before halftime. Sam Bradford would hit Jordan Matthews for a 4-yard touchdown with about 4.5 minutes still left in the second quarter. Caleb Sturgis added the extra point, and it was back to an 8-point lead for the Eagles with the score 21-13. But then, with less than 20 seconds left before halftime, Rashad Jennings ran a 2-yard touchdown into the end zone. Josh Brown hit the extra point, and it was back to a 1-point game with the Eagles up 21-20. So that was the score at halftime. Then in the third quarter, Rueben Randle caught a 45-yard touchdown from Eli Manning. Josh Brown added the extra point, and the Giants were in the lead for the first time in this game, up 27-21. So a 6-point lead for the G-Men. Then with 3.5 minutes left in the third, Walter Thurmond picked up a fumble and ran it back 83 yards for the touchdown. Caleb Sturgis added the extra point, and the Eagles were back in the lead by 1, 28-27. So that was the score after 3. Then in the fourth quarter, with about 9.5 minutes left in the game, Sam Bradford connected with Jordan Matthews for the second time for a touchdown. This one a 3-yard touchdown pass. Caleb Sturgis added the extra point, and it was now 35-27 as the Eagles were back up by 8. But with 4.5 minutes left in the game, Josh Brown hit a 48-yard field goal, and now it was a 5-point game with the score Philadelphia 35, New York 30. The Eagles would punt after 7 plays on their next possession, and the Giants would take over on their own 20 with less than 2 minutes left to play. They would get the ball up to the 42-yard line, as Eli would spike the ball after a first down on a 4th and 2 when he hit ODB for a 3-yard reception, but an incomplete pass on second down, an incomplete pass on third down, and now it was 4th and 10 at the 42, and Eli Manning's third incomplete pass in a row would turn the ball over on downs, and all that was left to do was for Sam Bradford to take a knee in the victory formation, as the Philadelphia Eagles hold on to win this one 35-30. They're now 7-9 on the season. They are 500 on the road, 4-4. And the Giants fall below 500 at home on the season at 3-5. They're 6-10 overall. It's their third losing season in a row. Their fourth not making the playoffs. And Coughlin still has a year on his contract, but there are definitely rumors swirling around that he will retire after his 20th year. He is a Hall of Fame coach. He won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. He's also brought prominence to BC when he was their coach back in the 90s. Those effects can still be felt today as he really resurrected that program. And he also brought the Jacksonville Jaguars to the AFC Championship game in just their second year of existence. So he's had a storied coaching career at both levels, the collegiate level and as a pro head coach. As we all know, he won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. But in this game, the Eagles come up big without Chip Kelly, so I guess they got the chip off their shoulder, as they say, and they end up winning this game pretty decisively with Murray right off the rip, that 54-yard touchdown, but he only ended up with 69 yards in the game. But Sam Bradford had a heck of a game, throwing for over 300, as he was 30 for 38, 320 passing yards for Bradford. He had 2 touchdowns and an interception. DeMarco Murray, 12 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown. Of course, 54 of those yards came on that touchdown run. And then Darren Sproles had 3 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown. Sproles also had 3 catches for 20 yards, giving 44 total yards overall. Zach Ertz had a monster game, as he was one of the best tight ends this week in fantasy. He had 9 receptions for 152 yards. Jordan Matthews had 7 receptions for 54 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. He made of course, fantasy's over anyway, so it didn't really matter. But anyway, Selleck had 2 catches for 38 yards. And for the Giants, Eli Manning, 24 for 43. He had 302 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Rashad Jennings went off, 27 carries for 170 yards and a touchdown. And he also had 6 yards off of 2 receptions, giving 176 total yards. Rueben Randle, 4 receptions for 79 yards and a touchdown. Shane Vereen, 6 catches for 72 yards. He also had 4 carries for 12 yards, giving 84 total yards on the day. Will Tye had 5 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. Odell Beckham Jr., 5 catches for 54 yards in this game. And the kickers in this game, Caleb Sturgis, 5 for 5 on the extra points, did not attempt a field goal. Josh Brown was perfect, 3 for 3 on the field goals, 3 for 3 on the extra points. Then we look at the defense for Philadelphia. And for the Eagles, Connor Barwin had a sack and a forced fumble. Smith had a sack as well. And for the Giants, Castilla had an interception. Brinkley had a forced fumble. Robert Ayers Jr. had a sack. We look at the team stats, 30 first downs for the Giants, 23 for the Eagles. On third down, the Eagles 10 of 13, 76% conversion rate on third down, and that was something they had struggled with all year long, but they come up big on third down, extending their drives in this game as the Giants couldn't get them off the field. The Giants were 7 of 15 on third down, 46%. They were 1 for 2 on fourth down, 50%. Total net yards in this game, 502 for the Giants, 435 for the Eagles. On the ground, the G-men netted 208, the Eagles 120. And through the air, the Eagles netted 315. Bradford sacked once for a loss of 5 yards. The Giants netted 294. Eli was sacked twice for a total of 8 yards lost. Penalties in this game were few and far between. The Eagles just 3 penalties for 11 yards. The Giants just 2 for 10. And for the Eagles, they had 1 fumble that they lost. The Giants had 2 fumbles. They lost 1 and recovered 1. And in the red zone, the Eagles were unstoppable, 3 for 3, 100%. The Giants 2 for 5, just 40% in the red zone. Time of possession, 31 minutes and 54 seconds for the Giants, 28 minutes and 6 seconds for the Eagles. But that's probably the best time of possession that the Eagles had all year long. I'm not 100% on that, but just off the top of my head, pretty sure that's their best time of possession, although the Giants won the overall battle for the time of possession. Usually, the Eagles had been hovering around the 20-minute mark on the time of possession under the Chip Kelly offense. But the Eagles, they get the win with Schumer as their interim head coach, but of course, more coaching changes will come. And the Eagles, and the Giants too, both of these teams were in a position to win this division, but they let it slip out of their hands. They couldn't come up with the W's down the stretch. And the Giants, they end up losing 3 games in a row to close out the season when they needed to win 3 games in a row to take the division. Of course, the Eagles losing the game to the Redskins when they were in a position, if they won their last 2 games. They won this last game, but if they had won last week, they actually would be in the playoffs. And that's the crazy thing, is they just narrowly missed the playoffs, and Kelly was fired before this game even happened. But we'll see what happens moving forward. I mean, they've still got DeMarco Murray under contract. They're stuck with the team that Chip Kelly kind of dismantled and put together in his own image. But now that team kind of had mutiny against them. He's gone. The Giants love their coach, but he might be gone too, as they, missing the playoffs 4 years in a row, 3 losing seasons in a row, even with those couple of Super Bowl wins. How loyal will the owners stay to their coach? And does he want to come back? That's the real question. I'm not sure Coughlin really wants to come back for that last year of his contract. I will not be surprised at all if we hear about him retiring then in the next few days, but that remains to be seen. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good week and had a great weekend and enjoyed all the sports.